Hi everyone, it's Rhonda. Welcome back to my channel, A Little Bit French. I have just returned from a trip to Connecticut and Massachusetts, and it was originally for a wedding, but the wedding was in Massachusetts and Sturbridge, and we were literally 15 minutes from Brimfield. And if you've never heard of Brimfield, Massachusetts, it's where the largest or the oldest antique flea market is. And I've been there before. I can't remember what year, but I remember that I was able to meet my favorite blogger, Petite Michelle Louise, and Michelle met us in the parking lot and took me to all her favorite spots because she lives near Brimfield. So she was able to direct me into what she knew that I liked. So that was so exciting to meet someone like that, you do emails, you do texting, and we shared the love of vintage and antique French things. So we bonded rather quickly online, but to actually meet her and give her a hug, I hope you get to do that with some people that maybe you are just online with. It's really nice. So before I get started on my treasures, I just wanted to show you these little booklets I made, and I reached into my vintage rhinestone pieces. They're just sitting, they're collecting dust, so I added ribbon to them and wrapped them around. And this one shows a couple apparently on their wedding day, and I added a pocket with a tag and some old photos, but these are copies. And as you can see, I'm not finished with this yet. I have some scraps in here and places to actually write. So it could be called a mini journal, as long as there's a space to write. And there's some very old, all the papers are original, and some are rag paper, some are pieces of ledger. But I'll have these in my shop at the end of the month because I've been traveling. I'm way behind in finishing projects. And so I made 3 of these, and I might make more. I don't know. They're not very big. So if someone wants something that's just not very big for their collection, and these are the ones. So actually these are smaller, but they're basically the same, and antique lace on the sides. So those will be in my shop. And then I made, and I didn't really share on YouTube because I know some of you aren't on Instagram. Not that one. But I get a lot of questions about where I find these settings, and I just look on Etsy. These I've had for a while. They're heavy, and the glass is heavy. I'll try to look that up before I post this. But I'll have some of these in the shop, and I've been giving these to gifting these to people who order from me, these little round ones. And then I add their glass and antique brass. I don't think they're antique, but they just call it that. And the cab is actually glass, and then I put authentic part of French book words in there. Paris. I don't know if you can see that. But I made a lot of these one day. I just sit and mass produce. Now this one keeps moving. It didn't, I'll have to take it apart. And then I made this bride. And let's see what else is over here. So these are fun to add to your journals or to do a happy mail. And I will list the Etsy shop for these little ones below. I may not always add the link, but I do mention shops. And this is another of the heavy square ones. So whatever, whichever one you prefer, there's all kinds of Etsy shops that sell. They're called settings. And then if you want glass, or you can use plastic cabs to put on top. So that's something that I didn't really share on here. And then when we got home Sunday night, this was in the mailbox from Jacqueline of Souvenir de la France. Another book I bought from her. And it is in good shape. I love this book. So I will be using some of the pages in here. We'll put that over there. And then before we get into the Brimfield, I have another French book I ordered on Instagram, Mr. Cup, and he's in the south of France. And I can't remember what I paid for this, but it wasn't much. I mean, look at this. And it's rag paper. It's not the thickest rag paper that I've, purchased or been gifted. Angie sent me some that is just beautiful. I can't use it. So check out Mr. Cup on Instagram. He has wonderful French papers. And I just love this. Timing is everything. When he has a sale, you have to jump in there and say right away what you want. And I grabbed this one. I wish I'd grabbed two now that I think about it. And then I'll show you what I've been finding on Etsy. Just jewelry, vintage jewelry that needs work, some of it, but I will find a home for these pieces. I just thought the price was right, and even though I have some, I need more. That's bling. When you add it to a journal, it just, I don't know, it just gives it a different feeling, in my opinion. And so this summer, I'm going to be using a lot more of the bling. And of course, you just search vintage rhinestones and you can find many, many shops. And that will happily satisfy you. Okay, now we're going to get into Brimfield. Yay! Oh, if you guys knew what it took to get there. Our flight last Wednesday canceled. They apparently tried to reach us at 10 in the morning, but we had already left. And we got to the airport, did all the parking in the hottest parking lot I've ever been in. And then we took the little tram train to the airport and tried to check our luggage, and it wouldn't let us. And the lady said, nope, your flight's canceled. You're rescheduled Thursday. So we had to come all the way back home and start over. So flying is I've never had that happen, so I'm not complaining. It just took one day away from visiting family. But then that Thursday we flew. We flew to Chicago, and then we were supposed to fly right into Hartford, Connecticut, and the storm was so bad. They landed us, they diverted our flight to Baltimore because Boston Airport didn't have any traffic controllers that time of night. So we were in Baltimore for 2 hours just sitting on the plane, and then the the nice pilot said, we're going to try to land in Hartford instead of making you all get off the plane and find a hotel. So we land, bumpy ride, but we made it. And when we landed, the flight attendant came over the intercom and said, thank you, Jesus. And that was what everyone was thinking. And we were applauding because it was the scariest, bumpiest landing I've ever experienced. But anyway, we made it. And the rest of the trip went very smooth, very smooth. Anyway, this was one of the photos that I found. It's falling apart, but that's okay. I can just imagine this on a long journal. And her name is Viola Simmons. And then I found these Civil War ladies. You can tell by the dresses. And then I just love this. I don't know if it's a man and his wife and daughter. They all look the same age. And these little girls. I fell in love with this one. Tiny. And a tintype. And these brother and sister. Most of these pictures say Pennsylvania or New York. This one is New York. And then I found these beautiful old hankies, which I will sadly be cutting up just for the lace parts and a doily. And nothing was marked. Everybody just sort of gave you a price after you brought it up to them to purchase. And then I found this book, 1844, and it is in great condition. I made sure that the pages didn't crumble because I have that problem. Here, everything finally turns into book pages that just you bend the corners and they break. So I love this book. And then I got these two books. I don't know if it's upside down. No. Just grabbing what I could because Brimfield, it had rained and stormed. And when we got there, the skies were just cloudy and sunny mix. And it was just hot and humid. But there were puddles everywhere. There were signs of all the bad storms they endured. And some of the vendors went home. We saw that. Stephen French Whitman, The Famous Love Affair. Yeah. So I just grabbed what I could because I had a feeling we weren't going to be able to stay that long. It was just a little over a couple of hours and you were soaking wet, and I wasn't actually wearing a good top for that. My top was not breathing. But you know, I'm a power shopper. I always have been. So I don't know what this book is about, but it was just one that I felt that the pages were really nice, and I couldn't find a date in this one. But stuck in here was this, so it was meant to be. I love this. Not really a holy card. Oh, it opens up. Didn't even know that. Look at that. See how that would easily go over a page. Oh my goodness. I'll be making a scan of that. And if you check my Etsy shop, I did make some new scans because I did get a new printer. So what I'm going to do is use my Epson printer for as long as it will last. But I ordered another HP. I don't care. I don't care if the ink runs out. You know, you get the ink plan. I don't care. It is just phenomenal, the quality. And I don't have to, you know, go into my digitals that I purchase, and I don't have to adjust them darker because the Epson never printed the actual colors. It was just bizarre. but it did the best it could, I guess, and it's gotten me this far for years. But my HP scanner, I just love it, and so you won't hear me crying about my printer anymore. So that's about it. I'm glad to be home safely, and I hope to create another video where I'm you know, showing you a few things. But for now, I just need to gather up what my next journal's going to be. I think I'm going to finish that other one that several people have said they want it, and then when I finish it, we'll see who actually does, because it's spoken for by two ladies, and that's okay. So I haven't finished it yet, but it will be finished hopefully this week or next. So thank you for watching. I hope I didn't bore you with my little treasures, but I got excited that I actually got to go to Brimfield and wanted to share. Have a good day, and I will be back soon. Bye-bye.